What's up, everyone? I am back. I know my regular uploads have been kind of annoying. We used to post twice a day. Now we're to once a week, maybe. But I'm going to get back to that. So don't worry. We're going to have regular uploads this time around. That apology, semi non apology out of the way, just kind of more of an explanation. I've just been busy. But with that out of the way, there's been a conversation lately why us men are choosing not to get married. I don't want to give my opinions up front, but we're going to be reacting to this video. What happened to marriage? We're going to be linking the original video down in the description below. So if you want to watch it for yourself, feel free to. If you want to still be part of the conversation, or if you want to stay for part of the conversation, this channel is a conversation. So consider commenting down below. I read everything. And the way you stay up to date on this conversation, that is this channel, subscribe. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's watch what happened to marriage.
I think what you're asking is, do you want to be married? And I think that a lot
Oh, yeah, let's go back a little
I have
bit.
a question for the men. Do you guys still want to get married?
I think what you're asking is, do you want to be married? And I think
Mm,
that a lot of men would say, yes, I do want a partner to spend my life with. But when you say, do you want to get married? I'm not sure if you're keeping in mind all these extra steps that come
yep.
before and the possible ones after. Here's a guy living in a cardboard box with his ex-wife in his house with other men. You have to keep
Mm-hmm.
in mind that happens with roughly 1/3 of new marriages, and that
Now, I will say this. Yeah, the marriage statistics in the US are kind of bad. Not necessarily like they're inaccurate, but just like there's a high amount of divorces and kind of bad. There's just too many bad examples of what can go wrong when a marriage is done. And I think it's not really the fault of marriage. It's the fact that no one really understood what they were doing when they got into marriage. And you're saying, well, like no one really knows what marriage is. But at the very least, you have to have the same expectations for both people. And I think most people don't really communicate that with each other and their partner. And so it creates a lot of issues. So I'm trying to be fair and saying, like, yes, there is kind of what he's describing with the cardboard box thing. That is very common, unsurprisingly, but it's also like can easily be avoided. So I just want to be fair.
that's only for the men who have the opportunity to get married, which is contingent upon a bunch of steps that
I still think it's funny that he drew everything. But yeah, a bunch of steps to getting married.
have changed quite a bit over the years. So, in order to get married, you have to date, and in order to
Hmm.
date, you have to work and make money, and in order to work and make money, you have to go to school. And men have been facing a lot of
That's not entirely true. There's a lot of I think most marriages I've seen are people who didn't go to college, unironically. Um or people who didn't seek like a higher education. They might have got like certification or something, but they went straight to work.
new difficulties in all of these areas
Hell, most of the marriages I've seen are people right before they go into the military.
over the last few decades. So, do I want to have a partner? Yes. But
Hmm.
do I want to go through all of this again? Not right now. So, you want to get married, you have to date, you want to date, you have to work, you want to work, you have to go to school. This is where a lot of male problems begin. I'm not saying that schoolgirls have it easy, but the last few decades, schoolboys have been treated like they are defective.
It is to some extent true. Like they've been taking there's a difference between um taking away opportunities and then just reducing the amount of like there's a difference between taking away opportunities and then not increasing opportunities. What's happened lately over the years, um because there's been such a push for more inclusivity, they have to get that money from somewhere. So they take those opportunities and route them ways. I'm not saying they're good or bad, right? I'm somebody who benefited off of some of these programs. But what I do find it messes with the psyche of the guy, right? It messes with the self-worth of it, right? It's like, well, if everyone, if society, if America, again, this is just American perspective. This may not be true around the world, but in America, it's like, it's so easy right now to like continually shit on men. And like, it's like kind of the meme, right? It's kind of the culture. And then you see your school take away opportunities. Um, and obviously, like, I'm not trying to get into who's oppressed more type shit, but I do want to talk about like how mentally it might mess with the guy, and see their self-worth a little bit differently, or it might cause them to go to the extreme angle where they see themselves even more valuable and that they just don't want to waste their time with anybody. So, you know, it has the I don't it doesn't have this, most people don't won't feel that effect of either extreme, but it does push, if you're looking at like proportionality, like a huge proportion of either one. So,
The last few decades, schoolboys have been treated like they are defective. In third grade, I used to finish my work before the other kids, and I would get up and move around, and they told me that was not okay, so they medicated me. When I got a little older, the other boys would start fights, and I went to the authorities to do the right thing, and they punished both of us. So then I took matters into my own hands, and they punished just me.
and again, that's like there's just so many like institutional problems that are just kind of retarded, but it's whatever.
Because of these policies, they don't let boys just fight it out anymore. Those types of policies
Not saying that boys should fight it out. It's actually a good thing that they're not. I think the issue is once, if someone, say for example, is getting bullied and like getting beat up every day, if they were to go to an administrator right now, the administrator won't do shit because they're cowards. They're scared that they're going to be in the wrong. They're so scared that they're going to be in the wrong that they won't do anything, rather than actually investigating and see what if this is like a thing they need to do or take action. And then if you include certain types of races of people, it gets really weird. And so it is true to some extent. I think he's focusing on the wrong things this early on in the video. I hope he starts addressing why men don't want to get married, but I can see where he's going with this. I just don't think it's as significant because a lot of men kind of, or a lot of boys to men, the kind of outgrow this or kind of just move on. Like a lot of like that's probably one of the biggest advantages that men have in the world. We know how to let things go. So and so yeah, I don't know what he's focusing too much on the small things that a lot of people move on from.
are not setting young boys up for success. They punish the way that we natively look at the world. It definitely messed me up a little, and that was 30 years ago, and I have no idea what's going on now. When we get older and go to college, there are all kinds of things in place to help girls that are not available for boys, and they say that it's there to correct problems, but I don't think those problems exist anymore. So
I do think those problems exist. I think the issue with like I think there's still systematic problems that do disfranchise women. So like say for example, like, and it's kind of a sticky situation because like say for example technology, there's not enough women in tech, and so they're saying, well, it's men keeping the women out. No, it's just a lot of women aren't interested in it. And then it's like the conversation should be not, oh, we hate the men in tech because they keep women out. It should be, how do we get women excited about tech? Should be you see what I'm saying? Like it's the phrasing and the context of way you do things, because you can't convince women to like something they don't like. You can't convince anybody. Um, and so like I said, we do need more women in tech, but it's kind of the conversation is not being done genuinely, and like accurately. But I will say this: if there's anything that needs to be corrected with these programs, from like an American's perspective, is like what happens is, and I know this just based on my professional career. What happens with these programs is you'll give, let's say for example, like small business loans. You'll give small business loans that are tailored specifically to women, right? And I'm not saying this is true about all women, but I'm just using the woman example as an example. So let's say they give 3 women a business scholarship, and only one of those women are successful in running a successful business. If you were to look at that purport, like statistically, most businesses fail because they're just, they're not managed right. There's so many different factors that come from the individual business owner that causes this business to fail. But what happens with these grant or like these loans and these specific DEI initiatives, they never ever 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 put the blame on the individual. So the person who's is successful in their business can't get more money because they're successful, but then the people who continually fail can get more and more. So then that ends up unironically, there's so many cases of fraud because it's like there's just no accountability in that. So if there's any criticism to this, I don't agree really what much of what he's saying right now. But I do think if that was like a criticism, I would say like boys were not accountable in the right way, and then other groups are just not accountable at all. So I don't know where he's going with this. I thought this was a video about marriage.
As we are accumulating what we need to succeed in life,
Life
boys are
energy.
getting less of a head start than they used to, which is, I think, one of the contributing reasons for why they say they have Peter Pan syndrome and they never grow up. I think it starts here. When we get
That no. That I think he's over generalizing. I think the issue is there's so many different factors that contribute to that, right? It's like no parent, single parent households, right? Or no father figure. Women tend to do a little bit better with a mother figure, whereas like men, you need that guidance of a male father, like a male masculine figure in their life to show them how to be a man and like a gentleman, or just like how to be a good father. So, and that can change so much. So there's just so many factors. I don't know what I don't really agree with this life energy stuff, because like there's people who've had terrible lives and they have like no life energy according to him, but then when they get older they have so much energy because they're so much happier that they're not in the situation that they are. So I don't know where he's going. And now this work stuff, I'm gonna hear him out because some of this could be true, whatever he's gonna say, I don't know, but I don't know where he's going with this.
get into the workplace, there are similar programs that benefit women and not men, and that
That is true, but at the same time, it goes back to the idea like in and of itself, it's not bad. It's just that if you do it, they should just hold those people accountable to what their successes are and failures, right? Like an example. So if we're like if I'm a company like Microsoft and I'm hiring, oh, we need this percentage of people to be a certain race. And then you hire those percentage of people, but then a certain percentage don't do their job correctly, they should be fired and then replaced again. So it's just the issue is they do it, but then they're too scared to actually hold that group accountable to the same standards that anybody else is. So that's why you get a lot of tech companies, unironically, having these issues of low quality workers because it's not the workers' fault, by the way. It's the management who decided to do these initiatives. Um, Not that again, I'm not trying to say the initiatives are bad. I actually think they're good. I just think the people doing them are so scared of cancel culture that they don't know what to do with themselves and actually hold anybody accountable. But I don't know where he's going with this. I am just trying to talk about marriage.
get into the workplace, there are similar programs that benefit women and not men. And that's an issue because women want to make equal money to men, but then they also want men to make more and support them, and you can't have both. Additionally,
I think that's true though. That I can
then they also want men
that, but that that is true, but I don't think it's as prominent as he's making it seem. Right? There's a lot of women who just want a man that can support them. Period. Like they don't care about the money. Like they don't care how much he makes. They just want somebody that can support them. Like there's a lot of people that just want to be stay-at-home moms. Right? It's far less than it used to be. It's like the working woman now. Um, but it's not a. I think the thing is, it's like I don't know. I don't like to think that this is entirely true. Do I have data to back it up? No. I just don't think. I think more women just want somebody that can either support them equally or just support them outright. And like you saw probably saying, well, yeah, there's a lot of women that don't do that. Like that want both ways. Well, it's like I think according to, yeah, in social media there is, sure, but and social media is not entirely representative of real life. And also like social media could be shaping future generations to be like that. But I'm saying like as of now, like this could be true 10 years from now when all those kids that grew up on social media even more like even more are taught to believe this kind of stuff. That might be true then, but I'm talking about when talking about now, I don't think I just have a feeling it's not entirely true. Um, I think more women just want somebody who can love them, but also support them equally. It is at least that's what I think. I could be wrong.
To make more and support them, and you can't have both. Additionally, the culture has become very inhospitable towards men, and again, the way that men communicate and behave.
I think it's true, but it's like I think that I think it's true, but it only seems worse than it is because men we lost a lot of the spaces that we could just have like male only spaces. And I'm not talking about like jobs, I'm talking about like communities where it's just men because a lot of those unironically have been dispersed because there's like, oh, the fear of men by themselves talking to each other is evil. Oh, locker room talk. It's like not everything's like that. Like literally not. And so it's just I think it feels worse because men are talking to each other less in the ways that we used to. Cuz like I still talk to my homies pretty openly and like brotherly love, like a brotherhood. Um but again, I think it's just we lost a lot of spaces where we could just talk to each other and not feel like we're in an HR department. Not saying like we're saying evil shit, but it's just like you can vent and feel comfortable venting. So that's why I think a lot of this feels worse than it is, but it's really not. I don't think it's as bad.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but the economy is getting pretty bad, and even though that affects everybody, men are the ones who are expected to pay.
Yeah. I mean that's definitely true. I can give him that.
So this puts us at an increasing disadvantage comparative to women as we age. Then when we get out into the dating world, if you don't have any money, that's going to be a problem. If you can't compete on the dating apps, which most men cannot, that's going to be a problem. If you're
Okay, that's a pretty I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. That is an incel take. Yes, men are expected to pay, and yes, yeah, yada yada yada. But if you're basing everything off what he's about to say, if you're not okay with her having an OnlyFans and competing on dating apps, if you're trying to find a marriage partner on dating apps and like I'm just gonna keep it a buck 50, that's just you're setting yourself up for failure. I think that's kind of wow. This entire video, I'm disagreeing with a lot of what he's saying. So I don't, I don't know what I look again. It's my first time watching this video. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and that's okay. I could disagree with the creator.
not okay with her having an OnlyFans or an Instagram or whatever, it's going to take some women off the table because they have so much attention. So
I most women don't have the clout that he's making it seem like. Okay, absolutely not true. Okay. Now, if women are cheat like built like maintaining options B and C while they're with you, that's a different story, which a lot of women do. Don't fucking lie. A lot of women do that, but it's because they're like, oh, they're just friends. Oh, they're just friends. And it's like, nah, you're just keeping your doors open. But when a guy does it, it's cheating, right? That's besides the point. But that's like on the individual. But what I'm thinking, he's making it seem like a lot of women do this. Yes, on social media, yes. But most women don't got clout like that. Hell, most women don't even really have I'm not gonna say they don't have social media, but they don't have a following like that. Um so I just think that's kind of an incel approach to it. Um but now if you're like for example me, if this channel pops off and become a popular, would I seek out another popular creator if they had these things like an OnlyFan, huge following, 100 people in her comments and DMs all the time? I probably wouldn't. Just me personally, not because of that, but just because like I want to keep my personal life as far as I can away from internet stuff. Like this is my community. This is like a safe space for us, right? Where we can talk and bond. But I also want to be able to disconnect when because just being on the internet so long, it gets to you, right? And I want to be able to like take a break from being online. So um also I would never want to force my partner to be online like celebrity either, because let's say I meet somebody who isn't an internet celebrity and then they want to not be on it anymore, Well, because I am now, they're forced to. So it's just one of those things where like you really have to consider the other person as well. So I think it's just a bad more of that than like I genuinely don't really care if they have an OnlyFans. Uh, I guess it would depend what they're doing on their OnlyFans. Like if they're doing some crazy shit on there, then probably not. I'll go to church, but if I still feel dirty, I have to go to church. I ain't doing that.
So a lot of men are playing catch up at this point in life when that didn't used to be the case. So our parents and grandparents did
That's true, but it's not for the reasons that he's saying. It's mostly economic.
not have any of these problems. They just sort of grew up, got jobs, and married whoever was nearby. Have you ever thought of it like, would your mother have married your father if she had Tinder? Would she have chosen him? There's stuff going on in these phases of life.
That's a valid point, though. I think my mom and my dad would have been. They're just they're so perfect and they've been married so long. That's probably why I have a different perspective, right? Um, I'm very blessed in that sense. But that's a good question, actually. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's the if your would your mom and your dad gotten together if your mom had Tinder or either of them? Something about. Something to think about.
She had Tinder, would she have chosen him? There's stuff going on in these phases of life for us that would have been unheard of even one generation ago. I once had a job where I worked with a girl. We had the same job. I had more experience. We had layoffs, and later she matched with me on Bumble and came to hook up. And I said, would you like to continue doing this? And she told me that I didn't have my life together enough. We were living in the same place, in the same job market, and we came from the same job, and I had more experience. And she was getting 120K a year to do some like women's leadership job or something, and I was driving for Uber. So, I think
That's probably why he's making this video. She ruined him. No, but there's women that are just narcissistic like that. Like I don't think all women are like that. They're not. Most women just want someone to love them. I think that's the issue, right? Like I will be honest, as the higher income bracket you go, um, just men and women become more like kind of narcissistic and a little bit more arrogant. So I don't think that is the case for most women. I think I can see this being the reason why he made this video. Like, I'm gonna be honest. She kind of was an asshole, but that's not representative of all women.
a lot of people are really underestimating how much easier this makes things. So then if you can
And it also, like, again, yes, that can make things easier, but it's also like you got to consider when did that happen? Was it like at the prime peak of the pandemic and like the ultra woke stuff? Like, then yeah, of course, maybe a lot of unqualified people are going to take qualified positions, um, like quality positions. But that happens in any industry. That happens at any point. Like, there's always going to be people who are just going to take advantage of anything. It doesn't matter if they're men or women. That's always going to happen. So yes, that's something to consider. But like that person, the girl that kind of turned him away because he didn't have his life together, that's a more of an individual thing, right? Like there's I can probably find just another person that is exactly in the same situation that they ended up being together. Hell, there's so many people or instances where celebrities will get with broke people, and unironically, those broke guys ruin their life. So all I'm saying is this, okay? It's not all women.
actually get to this point, you as a man, you have to take everything that you've managed to put together over the course of your life and put it all on the table for someone who is probably not doing the same. Even
That is entirely true. That is entirely true. At least now. It could be different tomorrow or yesterday. But at least today, like nowadays in the year 2024, men are expected to put everything on the table, and then women are the ones to judge, even if they have nothing to bring to the table, which is kind of fucked up. But at the same time, you got to consider this is where I'm going to be fair here. I'm always trying to be fair, but this is where I'm going to be fair. I actually think that it makes sense that way. It's fucked up, sure, it's messed up, but it makes sense because you got to consider men don't really have, on average, and like just 99% of men, most men don't have a bunch of women chasing them, right? Constantly messaging them, reaching out, blah 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 blah. We don't have that. Well, especially me, I'm pretty ugly. But the thing is, it's like we don't get that, but women do, of all different number scales, 1 to 10. They get that, right? So if I'm a woman and I have so many options constantly being thrown at me, of course I'm gonna want to see everything and make the best decision. That's actually really, really smart. Now, obviously, again, there's certain individuals that take advantage of that, but that's individuals. Like again, it's not all women, but to be fair to women, it actually makes sense that they do it that way because you can't, if you have so many options to you all the time, how are you supposed to make the best choice? Whereas like to men, yeah, to men it's fucked up, it's messed up, and women take advantage of that sometimes, but it only makes sense. It honestly makes a lot of sense. Look, I'm not saying that it has to stay like that. Okay, don't think that I'm like, oh, it has to stay like that. Ideally, both people would come to the table and communicate equally. Ideally, right? But if we're just looking at it just the way it is today, it actually makes a lot of sense that it's done this way. It sucks. Maybe somewhat someday the culture will change. I'm not gonna bank on it, right? I'm not gonna bank on that it's gonna change suddenly. But hey, it is what it is. That's all I can say.
Even though women are not having a hard time in the workplace, men are still generally expected to provide, while women generally keep more of their money for themselves. We've all heard.
That's not true. That's not true. That's true. Okay, so it's true statistically, but at the same time, it's like women like sacrifice more time, right? When it comes to generating wealth. If I'm trying to explain that correctly. I'm not gonna get into the weeds of it, but it's like to some extent he's right, but it's not true all the way. The reason being is this. Listen, the reason why it's not true is because women and men have to sacrifice when the economy is tough. Period. It does not matter. Doesn't matter how much either side have, because when you're married, you're one. You're together. Period. When you're married, you're like this. So if you're married and you're trying to like, not saying that the man and the woman, the husband and the wife should have their finances together. I don't know. I haven't been married, and I haven't been married. And also I haven't been, if I was married, I've never been married long enough to know if this is a good idea or not. But when you're married, you should be on the same team, period. So when the economy is tough and inflation right now is really, really bad, it's not going to, it shouldn't just be seen, oh, it's affecting the man and the woman. It's affecting both of you because you're one, you're a unit. So, it's more of like shared responsibility. I think I wouldn't see it as, I think the issue is he's classifying it at like a dollar value when it should be more of like who's getting responsibilities. Technically, more men get more responsibilities when it comes to the home and the marriage and blah blah blah. But that could easily be fixed if there's communication between both sides and like communicating and sharing responsibility. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think the focus is just should not be on the money. And then if it's not on the money, there's so many other ways to fix it.
Uh, my money is my money, his money is my money. I found this
That's such an insult take, but whatever.
great little video about that.
But I just have a quick question. My husband won't see all of my accounts, right? I have like 8 different bank accounts, but my husband only knows about 2 of them. I've just been secretly saving for years in case I ever need to. No, say no more. I don't need to see those statements. So as far as I'm concerned, they don't exist.
Yeah, so I don't love the idea that my wife might be hiding money.
And look, just because there's cases of this happening, now obviously social media made a joke out of it, but there's real cases of this happening. Again, all this could be avoided if people weren't just getting married willy-nilly. Like they need to, like, it's okay to live with somebody for 5 to 6 years until you realize that this is what the person's going to be like, and then you decide from. I think that's the issue too, is people think they need to get married within the first 3 years of living together. But no, you could date for 10 years and be like, you know what, let's get married. Because we're this is what our lives are gonna be like, and we comfortable with each other. Let's get married. I think that's fine. To date however long, right? And I know a lot of people will be like, well, if you're not planning to marry the person, don't date. I could be like, I'm gonna marry this woman and then die then that same day and then never get married. So I don't know what to tell you. Like the real world works very, 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 very different. That's all I'm saying. If you love the person, you'll do your best for them while you in the circumstances that you can. The ring is only for tax purposes. And even then the tax benefits only come when you have kids.
Of course, I'm not allowed to do that. All of my money has to be on the table, and there's about a 1/3 chance
This dude's such an incel. He's looking at it for money, not responsibilities.
that you're going to be taking it to party with other dudes in the house that I bought.
Yeah, and again, that's just like, yes, it's a common example of what's happening with like even just child support stuff like that. Excuse me. But again, this could all be avoided if both partners communicate before they get married.
For you. Divorce laws have changed too. You used to need a really good reason to get divorced, but now it can happen just because someone is not happy. They even write songs about it. Check this out. I have to mute it for copyright. I'll read it to you. Might be the only guy who didn't send me hearted eyes in reply to my latest story. We work well on paper. We don't argue. We don't fight. But lighting scented candles just won't relight up our fire. And right there she goes, ah. It ain't that bad, it's just not what I wanted. Don't want to live this life half-hearted. Hang on, here it comes. I want fireworks and flames. Don't want safe, tame, practical. That ain't enough, that ain't love. This is the...
Okay. All right, let's chill out here. So he's using social media as an example. I think this video is bait. Because he seems like he's trolling. Yeah. Look, I want to comment on the idea of like people constantly seeking excitement. Those individuals would have looked for it no matter what. Whether you're a man, you're a woman, and you're with a man or a woman that has that quality to them, they're always going to do that regardless. It's like the I don't remember the analogy, but like it's like the idea of like someone just being bored, rather than like pick up a hobby, they decide to cheat. You know what I mean? And that's like a quality of the individual. They're always gonna have that. Not saying that they're gonna cheat, but they're just gonna, if they at any point feel they're bored, then that's just how they are. Don't know what to tell you. It's not the quality of women, it's the quality of just individuals that are just like that. I've known men and women that are like that.
Squircle of unconsciousness. It represents how people don't know how relationships work, and so they think the relationship is going to go like this, and then it turns a corner. I think she's at the dissatisfied part. You can't have everything is exciting all the time. Good choices are boring. No relationships are going to be fun the whole time. They're all going to have spots where there's no fire, but she don't want safe, tame, practical.
I think that's why you gotta have goals with your partner, right? Whether it's be, oh, let's work together to save money. Let's work together to pay off any student loans or any credit cards. Let's work together to pay off a car. Let's work together to buy a car. Let's work together to have kids, right? The idea is set goals and allow yourself to work together and like allow your life to be together. And then that's why, like, if you look at these old couples that have been married for like 50, 60 years, that's like the secret they talk about. It's like, you don't have to be together 24/7, but just know that everything you're doing is for each other. Right. And then it goes back to the analogy of, there was a meme. I forgot what movie it was. Maybe it was a movie. Anyway, there's kind of an analogy. It's like, let's say you're the husband and you have a choice between picking your wife and your baby, to save your wife or your baby, and then most people say save the baby. But the idea of marriage and love is that you should save your wife. Because when you don't know that baby, just gonna be honest, we don't know what that baby's gonna be like. Come out as a serial murderer, and you decide to give up your wife for a killer. All right, let's just be honest here. But the fact is, it's like you can always make another baby, but you can never you can never have that wife. You can never have her again. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like, it sounds fucked up, but it's like it has a lot of validity to it. Like you should love the woman or the man that you're with, and that should be your priority, right? But that's something to think about.
That ain't enough. That's not even love. Look how passionate she is about dumping her husband. That's real, I can spot a faker. And she even sings about other men giving her googly eyes on her Instagram stories. So this girl is what I would call an excitement chaser. She starts
Now that's also like just having the discipline to not cheat. I think a lot of people have DMs from like all these people. "Oh, I'm a celebrity," right? That's different.
out her new relationships excited, and over time gets bored when they're not chaotic, and then by the time we notice she's bored, she's already got a new guy lined up, and this has pretty nasty effects on us. So
Yeah, but those again, that's like a testament to the individuals, not like the sex, right? Like it's not an individual of women. Like it's not like a testament to women or men. It's a testament to the individuals.
your relationship satisfaction is going to change over time, but your stability is not supposed to. That's what marriage is, that's what it's for. Even when you start feeling like things are not as fun, you have to remember that commitments are what gets you through the swings. I actually have a little theory that this takes about a year. Obviously, we get up and go to sleep with the sun, and women have changes in their hormones and emotions with the moon. And I think that a year is the amount of time that it takes to find somebody and have that strong emotional connection, get pregnant, and have a child. It's about 1 year altogether. And this girl is making a spiritual experience out of a biological process, and she's allowed to end the marriage over it.
Did he just? Maybe this went over my head, but did he say that people can find a real connection, get married, and have kids within a year? Am I tripping? Am I tripping here? Hold up. This has to be bait.
What gets you through the swings. I actually have a little theory that this takes about a year. Obviously, we get up and go to sleep with the sun, and women have changes in their hormones and emotions with the moon. And I think that a year is the amount of time that it takes to find somebody and have that strong emotional connection, get pregnant, and have a child. It's about
I don't. Maybe that's true. I don't think so. I wouldn't say that's responsible. Not trying to judge anybody. I just think that unless some people like there's again everyone's life is different. Some people know immediately what they want to do. Um, but I just think at least in America with the divorce statistics so high across all marriages, gay marriages and straight marriages, like the statistic is high for a reason. I don't think a year is enough.
about 1 year altogether. And this girl is making a spiritual experience out of a biological process, and she's allowed to end the marriage over it. So it's not that I don't want a partner, it's just that a lot of us don't have what we need to build a partnership, and even if we get it, it could fall apart immediately.
Okay, so this is what he should have talked about really in the beginning. So yes, the first part is a lot of men are still trying to build stability in their life, mostly because they're just the economy in the world right now is dog shit. It's just bad. It's just not good. Jobs are paying less and less because of inflation. Quality jobs are going extinct or overseas and replaced for shittier jobs for somebody else. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's right. And yes, of course, it's easier for women to marry into somebody who has their stuff together, but they're still gonna sacrifice at some point, right? At some end, maybe they might marry somebody they don't love, or stuff like that. So I just think everybody's struggling right now, and it's like, well, why would I get married if I don't even know I can guarantee a good future for myself. It's actually very responsible. I think people are becoming more responsible, especially when you look at the, like, again, like if we're trying to go back to what things were like, the marriage divorce rates are way too high. Does not matter. So when you're comparing it to people, if you're comparing people not getting married to the statistics that we have, like, not getting married is so much better right now, at least, because it's like you have more and more younger guys, younger adults in general having like larger amounts of debt because of college student loans, credit cards, car payments. Medical bills are even more expensive than they ever been. Like, you could just break your leg and not have insurance and you're fucked, right? There's so many real issues that it's just easier to not put someone else through it. And it's kind of like, it's a noble thing. It's like well, it is what it is. I'll carry my own burden on my own shoulders, not someone else's, right? And I think it's just, I don't know. I think he made like 2 or 3 valid points, but I think most of this is being blown out of proportion because of social media. Social media, of course, represents a lot of the things that he's complaining about, but I don't think most women are like that. Oh, I know for a fact they're not. Most women are absolutely not like that.
Need to build a partnership, and even if we get it.
And then if he's talking about the table thing, yes, it's fucked up. It doesn't, it's bad for the guy. Like, it sucks. It doesn't feel good. Women take advantage of that. But the reality is women have so many options. So, like, how else are they going to judge? I'm not saying it's the perfect and it's the rest, like the remedy of blah, 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 blah. Not defending it. It is what it is and what works right now. It is what it is.
It could fall apart immediately. She could squircle herself into believing it's not love and have a phone in her pocket with 1,400 horny guys on it. And then
this got to be bait. This is bait.
End up here. So what you've done by fighting for equality is you've basically said, hey, you want to play a game of chess? I get all queens, though. Hey, where are you going?
Do you guys still want to get married? Like, is that still a thing?
I hope this all made it clear.
That's actually kind of funny, though. I think this video is bait. I don't know. I don't want to judge him, but link is in the description down below if you want to watch this for yourself. Give me your comments. Am I right or wrong? What do you disagree with me? Do you hate me? Do you think marriage is still a thing? Like, what's going on? Am I wrong for saying that he's wrong in a lot of this stuff? Am I right for saying he's wrong in a lot of these things, or maybe he's not really seeing it from a good perspective? Anyway, let me know in the comments down below. This is a long video. Anyway, love y'all. Bye-bye.